fellow Kenyans, I think if we better die standing up as soldiers rather than die still on our knees while we have already surrendered to a person who can never discover that we have surrendered. I've just seen that in another space, Wakili has just said that there is another bill which has been passed.
Sorry, Ms. Josephine, may you try to land, please? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just finishing. This is the last point. That there is a bill which is being deliberated right now in the parliament, which is intended to be passed so that we are restricted from several more other areas, so that we do not have authority and the right to do that. Fellow Kenyans, can we come out anytime we see everybody, because we have now to work to the best of everyone's knowledge. Anytime we see a document which concerns us, which concerns protecting us, can we avail our signatures so that we fight with this government squarely and put it everyone where they belong? And whoever does anything will be able to be arrested, because in case any person is abducted for any reason, we will have somebody who is responsible and who can be held accountable, because we will have put it clearly into records, and every citizen of Kenya and any country that claims to be a stakeholder of our country will be having that documentary on their table. Thank you so much. Let's join hands. Let's soldier forward. Let's never look backwards. I want really to appreciate the entire youth in the country who stood up and they said that President Ruto should also go home together with Gachagua. Those who fought against that impeachment, I salute you. I really acknowledge you, and I keep on praying for all of us so that we remain in that unity. May God bless us and God guide us. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Shall we proceed?
No, go ahead to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine. And next speaker will be having Diplomat Joseph. Diplomat Joseph, please.
Thank you, Pombe. Thank you, Hilary, and thank you, Abdi, for seeing it befitting for us to have such a great platform once again to deliberate the matters that are cardinal to our nationhood. Before I make my submission, allow me to respond to a speaker who spoke before the lady we've just heard from, and that should be the speaker by the name Prince. I think we are in a wake and a time and a season where we are fighting for the application of democracy without dilution. And one thing we ought to understand is there's no way you are going to fight for democracy when you are dividing the very people you need in your sling to win that kind of a war or battle, if that be the case. And therefore, there were several remarks that Prince made, and I think I stand to correct him, because I know we are headed somewhere as a nation, and we ought to speak one language on the issues that are facing us. And therefore, there's a statement he made concerning the Kalenjins, concerning technical use, whichever matter it is. It is very true, yeah. I agree with him, we have tribalism. But just because somebody has favored a certain group of people from a certain tribe, then that should not be the agitating power for any one of us to think that we need to label such a tribe as such a politician. Because what happens is, when somebody is in power and he wants to get people from maybe his community or whatever, basically they unpick their covenant, and we cannot summarize and say community X is black because we have 10 people who are from that community who are black. And therefore, what I'm just trying to say is we need everybody on board. It is true we have cases of tribalism, we have cases whereby things are not happening well, but we ought not to forget that in as much as there are many people in a given department or sector in a government more than others, we need those communities to fight for our democracy. We need those communities to fight for our liberation. So let the categories of people who we know when we have everything in our power and in our hand, we can be in a position to deal with those people. So I just needed to make it clear so that we don't shout at the zenith of our voices and try to see a certain tribe as if it is bad because the leader comes from that tribe. So we need everybody on board. Now here is my submission, and I want to thank all the speakers who have made a great contribution before us here today. Now, I think we have a square problem in the whole matrix of the current politics of UDA since they ascended into power in 2022. And the reason as to why I say this is because the issue that I'm going to address here, I value and I put it among the cardinal issues that I have, basically because when UDA candidates that was Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua came to power, or even before they came to power, they were seeking votes. They went throughout the nation trying to get votes from each one of us, and most people, they accepted those two guys. Now, the narrative that Ruto and Rigathi used to was this. The narrative was, the reason as to why we are standing with my brother is because this other guy here called Raila Amolo Odinga is a devil. Raila is a demon. Raila is a man of Enugu powers. Raila sleeps with witch doctors. That's where Raila gets his power. All manner of things. Now, listen to me very carefully. Now, that kind of a statement was a system of mobility to try to drive the society of Kenya, and now we view the politics from a different angles, quite different from the true stratas of politics. And therefore, it was the politics of those who want power because they are angels versus they that we don't want them to ascend to that power because they are demons. So who becomes the victim? Now, these two guys, they appeared using the image of the church, and the baby they brought us, who today I will tell you without fear that baby was a bastard. A bastard is anything that has been born out of wedlock. It cannot be recognized. So these guys knew what we have in hand is bastard, but we need the blessings of the church so that we can sell the idea of this bastard and then we cling to the seat of power. So what happened is they came to the church and the church accommodated that bastardhood of UDA. Now, when the church accepted that thing, I am telling you for sure, that is how these two guys were able to have easy time to get our votes, to get the votes from the church, to get support from the church. I am speaking from a position of understanding what was going on. I happen to be in the operation of the clergy. Sorry, I didn't want to disclose maybe my details, but I'm telling you, even the other day, the Pentecostal group came out and it was saying how guys fasted and prayed, how people went for many days in prayer for this government. Now, this is the question that I've been asking, and this is what we need to ask ourselves. And the reason why I've brought this issue is because I need you to understand, for our fight for liberation and democracy, the church, the very same church that was used to be the kingmaker, we need to engage that church, because one, it is either the church closes the doors to this politician, and number two, the church comes out to denounce those bastards, or else the church is going to say, we thought these guys are going to work for us and they have really literally failed the Kenyans, and therefore there is a need for us to take a different direction. And the reason as to why I say these guys, they knew whatever they had as a baby was a bastard is because now we had a polarization of a demon versus a saint. And this is a question I need to ask you so that I may give other speakers time also to make their contribution. This is my question, without having any issue to do with any candidate who stood in 2022. How comes that the very man that the church was told was a demon, Raila Amolo Odinga, that Ruto went back using the back door, he went and brought in the same guy who the church was rallied to pray against, and now Raila is supposedly in government, his people are in government. My question is,
At what time and stage did Raila become a saint? Because we were told the guy was a bad man. So in reality, so who was fooling who? So only this tells me that the church was used to sanitize a bastard. So whatever character these two guys are they have tried to bring in our faces, it has been a lie since the beginning. And let me tell you, and I'm sorry, I am standing from a position where I need maybe to have a support for the church. But let me tell you the truth. I've heard people say yesterday, it is better when we had a dragged leader than those guys who seem to be so sacramental and so pious. You see, so this is my submission to every one of us. In this discussion and engagements, we must bring the church onto account, because the church was used to sanitize people who do not have morals in everything that they are trying to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diplomat Joseph. That was a nice submission, and for the members who are just coming, we are having a conversation, state of the nation. We have 5 major things that happened previously that we are trying to look into. That is the impeachment of the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. We have